8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
I am not Jasmine, I am Aladdin. So far ahead, these bums is lagging. See me in that new thing, bums is gagging. I'm starting to feel like a dungeon dragon. Raw, raw, like a dungeon dragon. I'm starting to feel.
Yeah! Wait.
Welcome to WatchMojo.com, and today we'll be looking at the culture and traditions of Japan. Historically, the culture of Japan has been relatively isolated until recently. Today, one can see influences from Asia, Europe, and North America, but mainly Japanese culture is uniquely theirs. Yabusame is a type of Japanese archery performed while riding a horse. The ritual has the archer galloping down a long track at high speed. Today, this ritual is held at various times during the year, generally near Shinto shrines. No is a form of Japanese drama that has been performed since the 14th century. The costumes worn by actors usually have much symbolic meaning and are richly decorated. Masks are worn usually only by the main actor. They are designed so that slight adjustments in the position on the head can express emotions due to the angle shown to the audience. The Meiji Shrine, located in Tokyo, was constructed to honor Emperor Meiji and his wife after their deaths. The grounds are covered by an evergreen forest, which measures about 175 acres. The Sanja Matsuri is one of the wildest and largest Shinto festivals in Tokyo. The festival is held the third weekend of every May at Asakusa Shrine and attracts 1.5 to 2 million visitors every year. It is to honor the three men who founded the Sensoji Temple. The Como Japanese Iris Garden is filled with 10,000 Japanese irises in June. A popular tourist attraction, there are over 1,500 types of flowers in the garden. The Nagoya Castle houses a museum displaying the castle's history. Originally built in 1612, but subsequently almost completely destroyed in air raids in World War II, it was reconstructed in 1959. Adorning the castle's roof are two golden tiger-headed fish used as a charm to ward off fires. Gifu Castle and Ugaki Castle are both castles in the Gifu Prefecture. Like the Nagoya Castle, they both now house museums. And again, like Nagoya, they were both almost destroyed in the war. The Japanese tea ceremony is another important aspect of this country's culture. The tea ceremony is held in a special and very sparsely decorated tea house. This tea house is fairly rustic, focusing on natural materials such as bark-covered logs and woven straw. The ceremony consists of many rituals that have to be learned by heart. Despite the fact that Japan's culture has evolved greatly over the years, this ceremony is just one example of how the old mixes with the new.
Japan, a country famous for both its enchanting traditions and its immense economic wealth and growth. Over the past several decades, Japan has developed to be one of the leading world powers. It now boasts the second largest market economy in the world. Yet even as Japan progresses so rapidly, many of its magnificent traditions have largely been preserved. Japan's wonderfully rich culture is celebrated for its ornate costumes and attire, its intricate and diverse artwork, and its elaborate and stunning architecture. Two staples of Japanese culture still present today are the Shinto shrines and Buddhist temples found across the country. Shinto is the native religion of Japan and was once its state religion. While it has no written body of doctrine, it is Japan's main religion and is practiced widely with ceremonies and festivals. Shinto shrines are where its believers go to worship. Almost all Shinto shrines are built in isolated wooded areas and are very oriented towards nature. There are many lucky charms and other such objects to be seen at a shrine. Most are used to determine the will of the gods, and some as a way of asking for their protection. Another central facet of Japanese culture is the Buddhist temple. Temples are a place of worship for millions of Japanese Buddhists. Virtually every Japanese municipality has at least one temple, while large cultural centers like Kyoto have several thousands of them. Buddhism spread to Japan from India and China in the middle of the 6th century. Shortly after, Shinto and Buddhist beliefs began to influence one another. Today, you can find Shinto elements in many Japanese Buddhist temples, and likewise, Buddhist traditions have influenced the development of Shinto shrines. Nonetheless, Unlike the Shinto shrines, Buddhist temples are built in open areas for all to see, and the architecture is much more complex and elaborate. Most, if not all, Buddhist temples exhibit the same basic design elements as other traditional Japanese buildings. Many temples are built mostly out of wood, and oftentimes no nails are used to hold the wooden beams together. All temples store and display sacred Buddhist objects. The most sacred object is the Buddha himself, often located in the inner sanctuary, where worshippers stand to pray by pressing their palms together. Food offerings are frequently placed in the inner sanctuary to pay respect to the Buddha and other deities. Another significant feature of most Buddhist temples is the outside garden, often located in the middle of the complex. Temple gardens possess ancient stones that represent different symbols, oftentimes a deity, an animal, or a spirit. In this incredibly peaceful and serene setting, monks and sometimes visitors gather to relax and meditate. One big bell is usually located in the temple complex. On New Year's Eve, the bell rings 108 times. They ring the bell 8 times in the old year and 100 times in the new year. This number is significant because 108 is the number of worldly desires in Buddhism that are driven away by the ringing of the bell. As you can see, Buddhist temples and Shinto shrines are truly a symbol of traditional Japanese culture. It's nice to know that even as the world rapidly changes, there are still places one can see which have largely been the same for thousands of years.
What y'all think I'm playing? Hold up!
All around the world, do you hear me? Do you like my body? And I lick it. I love you, Swizzy Mag.
DJ Stats.